Jordan Poole has always been a supremely interesting player that hasn't been short on confidence. For Jordan Poole, I feel like his confidence would be both a blessing and a curse. Poole is one of those guys that looks out of this world when he has it going, and when he doesn't, there are times where he looks like he's not even a basketball player. The electric highs that Poole would be capable of providing in Golden State's fast-paced, three-point centric system will get him a ton of love early in his career. These highs even had some people dubbing him as the third splash brother for Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, which if you're having people even thinking that it's okay to call you the third splash brother, you have to have some sort of high level talent. And as we all know, Jordan Poole had that talent. So when Poole was hot, some would refer to him as the third splash brother, right? Tell me why his lows would be so bad that they could even get a usually very calm Steph Curry so mad that he'd be able to get ejected. You heard me right. At one point in time, Poole's shot selection made Steph Curry so mad that he would throw his mouthpiece and get ejected from the game. Do you understand how mad that you have to make Steph Curry to display that level of frustration? This man knew that if he lashed out, it would be all over social media that same night. But Poole had this man so mad that he just didn't care, and he was at his breaking point. Hilariously enough, Poole would actually go on to score the game-winning basket in this same game just moments later. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there is the Jordan Poole experience. And it's one that hasn't been going well for the Washington Wizards, who are prepared to now undergo drastic changes in light of a season that hasn't gone anything like they might have expected. Now, before we continue with the content, let's go ahead and get a word from today's sponsor. Today's content is brought to you guys by Factor, the guys who are making eating better, easier than ever. What Factor does is they deliver fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep. And yes, guys, Factor is as good as it sounds. Factor uses their team of gourmet chefs to create each meal only using ingredients with integrity so that you can feel your best all day long. With Factor, you can prepare restaurant quality meals in just 2 minutes. If you ask me, guys, that's pretty hard to beat. If for whatever reason you're unsure about Factor, be sure to check out their website, which they update every week. There's a chance that you'll find something that you like on there and that you really can't resist. As somebody with kids and a very loaded schedule, trust me when I say that Factor comes in clutch. To get started with Factor, head to Factor75.com or click the link below and use code COOP50 to get 50% off of your first Factor box and free wellness shots for life. You can get 2 free wellness shots from 3 available flavors for every order while you're an active subscriber. Guys, this offer is too good to pass up on, so make sure that you take advantage of it. Guys, I want to give a huge shout out to Factor for coming through and sponsoring today's content. Jordan Poole's ascension has been nothing short of stunning. He went from being one of the worst rookies in the league to somebody that would eventually ink a $140 million extension only after he would go on to play a key role on a championship team. Poole's ascension would be so stunning that even an NBA star like Paul George never saw it coming. To quote PG, "I gotta shout out Jordan Poole because I didn't see the vision from year 1 to year 2. And don't hate me, Jordan Poole. If you ask me after watching him the first year if he was going to be good, I would be like, nah, I don't see it." This take from PG would be far from controversial because as a rookie, there were a lot of times where Poole looked like he just didn't have it. With Klay Thompson missing the entire 2019 to 2022 season with a torn ACL and Steph missing all but 5 games that year due to a hand injury, it's not exactly like Poole would be short on opportunity. He had opportunity, he just wasn't producing. At that point in time, the Warriors desperately needed somebody to step up and show some promise, and yet Jordan Poole wasn't ready to rise to the occasion. But maybe this shouldn't come as a surprise, as some people were calling Jordan Poole the worst draft pick in the 2019 NBA draft when he was drafted. In 22.4 minutes of play, which is a great amount of time for a rookie, Poole would average 8.8 points on 33.3% shooting from the field and 27.9% shooting from deep. Along with 2.1 rebounds and 2.4 assists, these numbers really weren't anything to write home about. Bouncing between the G League and the NBA in his first couple of seasons with the Warriors, Poole would be able to establish himself and refine his game. A lot of people looked down on going to the G League, but what Jordan Poole saw was opportunity. Taking and making shots that he would eventually start making at the NBA level would do wonders for what was already an extremely confident player. Although Jordan Poole has been confident to a fault in the past, That exact same confidence is what has helped to make him so good. To quote Draymond Green, "Most people don't have the confidence that Jordan has. Why would Jordan Poole think that I'm on the floor with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and I should have the ball? I should be taking these shots. It's very irrational, but you need guys like that." Poole's elite confidence would allow him to become a key cog in the Warriors' offense in their most recent championship. That year during the regular season, Poole would average 18.5 points on 44.8% from the field, and during the playoffs, he would drop multiple 25-point games. He had 3 in the first round against the Denver Nuggets alone. I can't overstate how valuable that Poole's scoring and confidence was for this team. So that brings us to the question, why did the Warriors trade Jordan Poole and assets for an aging Chris Paul of all players after just winning a championship? Remember that notorious Draymond Green punch that rocked the NBA world, happening ahead of opening night the following season? According to Jason Dumas, that punch was just the icing on the cake, and something had been festering way before that season that had nothing to do with that punch, as Poole wasn't happy with the way that he was being treated within the organization. Basically, Poole felt like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green all got favorable treatment. But yeah, to nobody's surprise, that punch wouldn't help anything, and it would have lasting effects on the Warriors' locker room. Gary Payton Jr. admits that there was a different vibe to the locker room when he returned to it that season. So another reason for that Jordan Poole trade was that Chris Paul just had an easier contract to digest. Now, when Poole would arrive in Washington, he had sky-high expectations. The Washington Wizards were supposed to give Jordan Poole a clean slate and be a breath of fresh air. But instead, his time in Washington has gone nothing like I would have ever imagined. NBA legend Kevin Garnett went from saying that Jordan Poole was being held back like Harden in OKC to saying that this man doesn't even belong in the league. Poole was supposed to be a franchise cornerstone for this team, but yet none of these expectations for Poole have reached fruition. And now, the unimaginable has happened to him. Amid Poole averaging 15.6 points, 2.4 rebounds, and 3.7 assists this season on 40% from the field and 30.3% from 3, he would get benched for the Washington Wizards, who are currently 9-48 at the time that I'm making this content. And it's not even like the Wizards are trying to tank or anything. They have just been that bad, which makes this whole situation so much worse. Do you understand how bad that you have to be playing to be a young player making the amount of money that Poole is and get benched by one of the worst teams in the league? If I'm the Wizards, I'm starting him in an attempt to just get my money's worth. I don't care if this man is worse than Drewski. Either way, it's a win-win for me. Either he starts developing, or we continue to lose games, which would just get us a better pick. While I'm trying to make light of this surprising but long overdue benching, I do understand the vision is something needed to change. Who knows, maybe this all ends up working out. Maybe it motivates him, and remember that Poole has been a good sixth man before. It's really hard to blame the Wizards for trying this out. At this point in time, they're just trying to see what they have and if there's anything left to work with. As a starter, Poole has displayed poor effort, played no defense, and has consistently taken terrible shots. The lack of structure down in Washington really hasn't done him any favors either. There's a big difference in going from playing with Steph Curry, who even got KD open dunks in that Kerr Warriors system, to playing with Kyle Kuzma and a rebuilding Wizards team, and that's no shade to Kyle Kuzma at all. You add all of this together and you have a recipe for disaster for Jordan Poole. Unfortunately, Poole's first game off of the bench this season would be nothing like Thompson's recent game off of the bench, where he came out and dropped 35 points. In Poole's first game off of the bench, he would score 18 points, he would go 4 of 17 from the field, and to make matters worse, he would complain about his usage after the game. This stat line, along with Poole's play this season, just really messes me up because this man is oozing with talent. This man has worked hard to get to where he is. The talent is there, but the question remains, when are we going to see it at a consistent level again? I want to see more nights like the one that Poole just had versus Cleveland, where he scored 31 points, got 5 assists and 5 boards while going 11 of 21 from the field. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think of this whole situation down in the comments below, and let me know what situation that you guys want to see me cover next. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.